Hey everyone, welcome to our last day of Lakeland's journey to Easter. We hope you've enjoyed these last few days, and we're just preparing our hearts for everything that God has for us. And so we've seen things we haven't seen, we've learned some things we haven't seen, and we really hope that God has prepared your faith for everything that He has for you. So we've seen Jesus a little bit in a couple different contexts. We've seen Him anointed, we've seen Him clearing the temple, we've seen Him praying, we've seen Him betrayed. If you were to fast forward just a couple hours from the arrest in the garden, you will find Jesus in a cistern just like this. And I don't know, it was about a year ago that I had heard this for the very first time, what I'm about to share with you. I had sung so many Easter songs, I've heard so many messages, I've given Easter messages, and I never uncovered really where Jesus spent His last night. And He spent it right here in a cistern. So what was this all about? You have to actually put all the pieces of the Bible together. You have to put the story into the setting to actually figure this out. And so here's the story. After Jesus was arrested in the garden, He was taken over to Caiaphas' house, which is the high priest. And everyone was there and the verdict was in. They wanted Jesus to die. All they needed was evidence. True or false, it didn't matter. All they needed were witnesses, real or not, it didn't matter. They wanted Jesus to be sentenced to death. And as you read this story, you will actually see it's just a chaotic trial. And when Caiaphas has finally had enough, he went straight to Jesus and he says, Who are you? Are you the Son of God or not? And Jesus says, I am. And with that answer, clothes were torn and fists were thrown and spit started flying and insults were headed straight for Jesus. And then there's a break in the story. And all the gospel writers, they don't have anything to say about this little period of time, but Luke picks it up in Luke 22 when he says, at daybreak. At daybreak. And so there's this time period that has passed overnight that we know nothing about. But if you put the story into the setting, you find out that Jesus spent His last night here. What we know about this is underneath Caiaphas' house, underneath all the stained glass, underneath all that was going on there, you find these caves, these cold, dark caves that Jesus spent His last night. And they would hang prisoners from ropes and then through this hole where they would spend the night there. Why would they do that? Well, they found out that prisoners would run out of energy pretty fast when they were just hanging there. They found out they didn't need any guards to watch the prisoners at night because eventually they would just wipe out and just be exhausted. And that's where they treated Jesus just like every other prisoner. But here's what I find in the story, and this is the truth that I want you really to anchor into, is that as Jesus was bound and hung in darkness, He did that in order for us to experience freedom in the light. Ephesians chapter 3 says this, that in Him, Jesus, through faith in Him, we might approach God with freedom and confidence. John chapter 8 says, if Jesus sets you free, and Jesus has the final say, if He sets you free, you're free indeed. And Peter says, live free. You see, it was all about freedom. As I think about even the journey up to Easter and all that's gone on, I really feel that Jesus had freedom on His mind. He had freedom on His mind this whole time. And as He hung there in this cistern, He had freedom on His mind and He had you on His mind. And so here's the question today. What freedom have you experienced because of Jesus? What freedom have you experienced because of Jesus? You might say, I'm free from fear. I'm free from addiction. I'm free from lies, from generational sin, from greed, from pride, from self-hate. Jesus frees us from so many things. And I know it's real easy for us to look at all the things we're not freed from. Look at all the areas we still have to work on. But you know what gives you fuel to step in with Jesus into those places? Are all the places He's already freed you. And so just anchor into this today. How has Jesus set you free? And I believe that will propel you into everything that God has for you. I think about this cistern and I think about why I didn't hear about it for so many years, and maybe you're hearing it for the very first time. And honestly, we haven't heard about it because the story didn't end here. Like, that's the beauty of this whole place. Like, it's not a big deal, and we haven't made a big deal about it. Even the gospel writers didn't have anything to say about it. Why? Because the story didn't end here. And so we're going to celebrate that together this weekend. We're excited about it. And so thanks so much for joining us over this multi-day journey of preparing our hearts. We're excited about Good Friday and our Easter services. Be sure to join us tonight, 7 p.m. Central, across all platforms for Good Friday, and then 9 and 10:45 a.m. on Sunday. Jesus has so much more for us, so much more freedom for us to step into, and we're excited to get after it. Thanks so much, Lakeland, and we'll see you this weekend.